Hello and welcome to the United Stand. It's our Manchester United versus Benfica preview, and as you can see I've got the tie and shirt combo on. I was meant to be getting a flight with United but they've left without me. But no, in all seriousness, I want to start off with this horrific Jose Mourinho stat that's come out today, which is pretty horrific to be honest. In relation to his Premier League managerial career since 2015, going back to his days in Chelsea, in his 10 away games against the top 6 sides, he has drawn 5 of them, lost 5 of them, but of those 5 draws and 5 points he's taken, they've all been 0-0 draws. And that is quite a, obviously that is quite a damning stat, the fact that 10 away games against the top 6 sides, lost 5, drawn 5, and the 5 draws have been 0-0. I wasn't aware of that one. It has come out today, and what are your thoughts? I mean, effectively that's what the United Stand's all about, isn't it? What are your thoughts on that? I think it's a big indicator of Mourinho's choices in regards to approaching these sort of games over the last 3 years, and I think it needs to change. And I think Mourinho isn't stupid, and I think Mourinho will look at those fixtures and see that that is not the way to do it, and it's not the way to do it at Manchester United. But let's talk about Benfica versus Manchester United first, because obviously that is the game that's coming up tomorrow night, Wednesday night, and I don't think we're going to have to worry about going away from home and defending too much against Benfica. They're not having a very good season, even if you're only aware of their Champions League form. Lost to Basel, lost to Moscow, and offensively they're quite a decent team, but I'd say their best striker is somebody called Haris Severovic, who plays for Switzerland. They bought him in from Eintracht Frankfurt, but he's no great shakes. But Benfica's offensive play is probably their strong point. Defensively is where they're really struggling, and like Mini says, let's go smash Benfica. Hala Madrid, I am doing a Madrid versus Spurs watch along tonight on That's Football, so your prayers have been answered. But Danny Riley says, I'm disgusted by Jose. Well, he will be speaking to the press this afternoon at 3 o'clock. Will he mention anything about his comments about Paris? I don't think he will, and apparently there is a rumour coming out today that United are going to respond to those comments and give him a new contract, so maybe he'll get what he wants at the price of annoying some United fans. But ultimately this is about Benfica tomorrow night, and I think United will be positive about this game against Benfica, because it's an opportunity for us to get 9 points from the group in a tough place to go, and we'll have played 2 away games in the first 3, 9 points hopefully, and then I want us to get this group won by game 4, which is Benfica at home, and if we do that, then the last 2 games in the Champions League we can look to use some of the younger lads and some of the younger players and rest some of the more important players, which at the moment is a luxury we do not have. And whether we take that luxury away to Benfica, I don't know, but the approach to the game cannot be the similar approach to what we saw at the weekend against Liverpool. Benfica's weakness is defence. Ring any bells? So is Liverpool, and their strength is their attack. So the way we approach this game is fundamental to what we want to achieve in the Champions League, and we don't want the latter games of this Champions League group to be important to us, because in December we've got City, and we've also got the last sort of game of the Champions League phase, so that could be problematic. So let's get this group won while we have to and while we can do. My lineup would be De Gea in goal. I think he'll have to play Valencia, but Valencia playing 3 games in a week is quite a rarity now, so maybe he'll play Ashley Young at right back. Lindelof should come in. I mean, we spent £30 million on Lindelof. Not been trusted in the league obviously, but this is against the club he knows very well. We got Lindelof from Benfica, so I would play Lindelof tomorrow with Smalling. I'd give Jones a rest for the Huddersfield game, and Bailly's not part of the squad. Bailly is injured, so I would play Lindelof and Smalling as centre backs. My left back, Luke Shaw has travelled, but Luke Shaw's coming in for a lot of stick at the moment. He played for the under-23s at the weekend, not very well, and got a lot of stick. Personally, I think the best reaction to that is if Mourinho does have any intention of using Luke Shaw, I would play him in this game. If not, Daley Blind obviously. Midfield 2 has to be Herrera and Matic. There's talk that Fellaini's going to be back next week. Some would say that's good news. It is obviously good news because we need squad players at the moment. But I'd play Herrera and Matic because it's a tough fixture in a European sense away from home. I would play Mata at number 10. I think one of my big enduring disappointments of the Liverpool game was not playing Mata at Wanfield. I think he's the most consistent player under Mourinho. You know, he might not hit the heights of a 9 out of 10, but he's always going to give you 7 or 8, and at the weekend that would have been perfect. So I would play him 100%. What else would I do? So yeah, Mata in at number 10. On the right hand side, I probably just would give Jesse Lingard a run out. Didn't do an awful lot wrong against Liverpool, not been playing that much recently, and you can trust him in a game like this. On the left, I'd be looking at playing Martial, and up front Lukaku, but that's if you go with what Mourinho likes to play, which is a 4-2-3-1. What if we went for a 3-5-2? Have we got the personnel to do it, is the reason I don't think that we actually will, because 3 centre-backs fit to do it. Well, you could do Smalling, Jones and Lindelof, but obviously Bay's out injured, so I think we will go for the 4-2-3-1. I think we'll win it comfortably if we approach the game in the correct way, and the correct way is to get at them, press them and use the players that we've got. And Matic and Herrera need to be far better than they were against Liverpool in relation to their offensive play. I think defensively they were good. We need to be better at our distribution from midfield to attack, and we also need to play a number 10. You'll note that there is no Mkhitaryan in my team, and there's no Mkhitaryan in my team for a reason. He deserves to be dropped because of the weekend. Will Mourinho drop him? I don't know. Mourinho seems very... It's like there's no in the middle ground with Mourinho and Mkhitaryan. This time last season we all wanted him to play and he wasn't getting in match day squads. This season a lot of people are like, he needs dropping, and he plays him week in, week out. So this is I think Mata's got to play. And I think if we can just get at them, get a little bit of confidence into the legs of Lukaku, Martial, these are the big players. If Rashford's carrying a knock, give him a break. I'm 100% confident that we'll go and smash Huddersfield at the weekend, but we need to get some confidence. We need to react to the critics. You know, Man City are probably going to get quite a significant win tonight against the Napoli team that's flying high in Serie A. Whatever result we get tomorrow, we're not going to get the plaudits for beating Benfica, who are not doing that well away from home. So we need to build some confidence and get some confidence into our legs. We've got Huddersfield at the weekend. Hopefully we're going to start to get some big players back. I mean, Marcus Rojo has gone as part of the squad, although he won't play. How close is Rojo to coming back? Because I think that would be a significant return, because if Bay is going to continue to have... I mean, one thing I would say about Eric Bay is he does pick up injuries, and if he was able to play... If he wasn't able to play but you had Rojo back, you could shift Jones to the right side of the centre-back, so it would be good to have him back. Still people are talking about the Liverpool draw and how it's not a bad result. If you missed at the start what I said, that whether it's a bad result or not, I don't think that is in question. It's the approach to the game. And when this stat comes out today, and I'm not big on stats, but this is one, I wouldn't even call it a stat, I'd call it a fact. Mourinho's last 10 games against the top 6 sides, he's drawn 5, he's lost 5, and in the games that he's drawn, so he's taken points, in the games that he's drawn, they've been 0-0 draws. That's a massive indicator that Mourinho's approach over the last 3 years away to the top 6 sides in the Premier League has been to shut them out and play for a 0-0 draw. That is not the way Manchester United should be doing things, and that is not what Manchester United fans want to happen. And I think that is the concern with United fans at the moment, and 100% totally agree with fans who are saying he needs to change that. He's got the players to do it, and he needs to change it. I'm sure he will do. I'm sure we'll see a different United tomorrow. We've got that 6-point cushion that gives us some security, but also I want to get, as I said before, I want to get this group done, and I want to look around December time where we are playing City, and if teams are going to continue to play the way they are against City, then it might be United who are the first team to show the Premier League actually how to beat them, or certainly how not to let them score 4 or 5 goals against you. It frustrates me a lot at the moment. The press are all over City, and they are scoring goals and they are doing very well, but you know, anybody with any semblance of football knowledge would know that the way that teams like Stoke are approaching them, it's going to be very interesting when Burnley play them at the weekend, but the way teams like Stoke are approaching Manchester City is just embarrassing. Like, they think they're going to go there and actually give them a game. They're infinitely better than you, and they thrive on space. Be interesting to see what Napoli do against them tonight, because I don't think this City side's the immense, brilliant, best ever Premier League side some people want to sell it as. It's the middle of October, for God's sake, and you know, I've seen City play a few games this season. Liverpool at home, very lucky until Mane got sent off. Bournemouth away, very lucky that a referee decided to add 10 minutes on. They are beatable, and they will drop points. And I think United just need. We're just a couple of glitches away from where we need to be, and that is that the manager needs to have a more positive mindset in the away games, which is displayed by his negative approach to many away games over the last 3 years against the top sides, and he needs to let the horses run freely. It's his own quote, and we need to stay in touch with Manchester City. But from a Premier League point of view, that's obvious. It is a lovely day in Birmingham today. I can share it with you down the canal. Lovely day, as opposed to yesterday, which obviously was very windy and not so nice for those in Ireland. Hope you have properties and family. I know tragically some people were killed, so but yeah, lovely day today. Weather is very changeable in the UK. Give Jose a proper contract, says Kieran Byrne. Yes, the preview is earlier than normal, because normally we'd do it at 8 o'clock, but tonight I'm doing a watch along for Real Madrid versus Spurs on the That's Football channel. I'm sure anybody who loves football wants to watch that game, and I thought, why are we going to do the normal show at 8 o'clock when everybody wants to watch Spurs versus Real Madrid if you're a football fan? So I'll be doing a watch along for that on That's Football. But my score prediction for Manchester United versus Benfica, I think it could be upwards of 2-3-1, to be honest. I think the potential is there for United to go and do something like that. They are not playing particularly well, Benfica. They're third in their league in what is effectively a bit of a pub league. It does come down to two teams. But Benfica's problem is players they've sold, like Semedo, and they do sell their better players. Renato Sanchez, Guedes, or Guedes, or whatever you want to call him. Matic was formerly at Benfica. Mourinho managed Benfica, so they are a selling club, but they're going through a bit of a problem at the moment with a bit of an ageing back line, and they're struggling. And I think Manchester United I'd be very, very disappointed if we went to Benfica and played for a draw and kept it tight, because that is a total misunderstanding. I think Mourinho got it wrong against Liverpool. I think he totally gave them way too much respect, but Benfica are not a team we need to go and keep it tight against. Let's go and give them a game, and let's go and build some confidence, because we are away to Huddersfield at the weekend. Ooh, eerie, Halloween. It is Huddersfield away on Saturday. We must beat Huddersfield on Saturday. I'm not saying it's going to be easy, because they are picking up some decent results, but they did get beat by Swansea at the weekend, and if we've got any aspirations of being comfortably in the top four and being one of the contenders to go with City, then we've got to go and win that game. In relation to players and performances and the return of Fellaini and when's Pogba going to be back and Zlatan and everything like that, I still stand by my theory that I think Zlatan's going to be number 10, and I think that's certainly not going to be changed by the performances of people like Mkhitaryan at the moment. I mean, we can all moan about Zlatan's suitability for the number 10 role and his lack of movement, but Mkhitaryan's just not grasping it, and I'm a big fan of Mkhitaryan. I mean, Puma81 just says Zlatan in, Mkhitaryan out. At the moment, I would have to agree. Zlatan's lack of mobility does concern me, but at least he turns up in a game. I mean, he put Zlatan at number 10 at the weekend behind Lukaku. At least somebody's there. Mkhitaryan wasn't there, and we got to go with that. Fellaini's apparently going to be back next week, Iris XHD. Well, look, whether I'd still pick Herrera and Matic, I probably still would, but Fellaini would be a nice player to have back, because we just need some options. And I think what Mourinho was trying to say in a bad way at the weekend, it was a bad comment to come out and say, I didn't have any answer on my bench to deal with Emre Can or Jordan Henderson. Well, that just comes across as that you think Liverpool's midfield's better than ours. What he was actually saying is he didn't have a midfielder to bring on to balance the midfield to make him change tactics. So that's why he wanted a Fellaini or Pogba. He obviously doesn't trust Twansibi in that role. Balumko Pafa says their star striker for Benfica is injured. Yeah, Jonas, he might not be. They don't expect him to play. He's got a bit of a bad back, but I think he will play. I think he will. Well, whether he does or he doesn't, we shouldn't be too worried about them. As an attacking team, they're quite decent, but I'm not too worried about them in any other way. I think United take this game, and it's it's always frustrating after a bad Premier League performance that you then go into the to the Champions League and you get that what do you call it? You want the momentum of the Premier League to continue, so to speak, and but we can't, because we're not playing in the Premier League. We're playing in the Champions League. So I think the one thing that we can do is take a bit of confidence from it and grow together. And hopefully, as I said, if you look at the performance against Moscow, probably a little bit less frenetic in the Champions League than it is in the Premier League. So I would hope that people like Matic and Herrera really can stamp their authority on it. One thing that's not probably been discussed that does start to concern me a little bit is the fact that Mourinho said after the Liverpool game that Matic was very tired and he didn't feel he could do anything. Again, obviously he doesn't trust Twansibi, which I find really weird, because he started Twansibi away to Arsenal and Spurs last season, away, and he trusted him in that, but he doesn't seem to trust him this season, which is disappointing. So but I do, to develop that point, I have got concerns about whether Matic is really tired and is he potentially on the verge of an injury, because we all know, whether we've done Football Manager, FIFA, or played football ourselves, the more fatigued you get, the more likely you are to get injured. Should Luke Shaw be starting, says somebody else. Mad Marcus says, say you love me, Goldie. I've noticed you on there, mate. And I would start Luke Shaw, regardless of his performance in the under-23s. I would like to start Luke Shaw, but I don't expect to see him play. If anybody listens to me in the United stand, please don't jump on the bandwagon of slating Luke Shaw and saying he's finished and he doesn't try and he's not good enough for United. Let's give the lad a chance. We've already seen under Mourinho Phil Jones resurrect his career, Rojo, Fellaini. So Luke Shaw's a talented young lad. Back him and give him your support until he's not a United player anymore. And maybe he won't be, but he is at the moment, and I think he deserves it. He deserves our support. Let's not turn on our players on social media like that. And people can say, oh, you don't like Fellaini, but look, I've been very consistent about Fellaini, and I've also been very consistent that his work ethic and everything is fantastic at the moment, and he's a valued member of the squad. My problem with Fellaini was always that I never really wanted him to be starting games. I remember when Chris Smalling got sent off in the Manchester derby and a few years ago, and everyone was calling him CUNT and everything like that. You don't want to see that about United players. You don't want to see that at all. Anyway, my score prediction was 2 or 3-1. Is that near the Barclaycards as Kieran Byrne? It is. It's right there. And let's take some of your questions. Love your show, says Ramora Grant. Please do drop a like on the video if you like the United stand. That would be really appreciated. 127 likes. Nice to go live. 3-0 to United, says Minnie. Should we recall Pereira or Fosu Mensah? I would recall them both in January. How long is Bailly injured for? I think it's just a knock. Maybe hopefully be back at the weekend. Luis Fernandez says just play Mata as the number 10. Totally agree with you. Just very quickly on that, I edited the Juan Mata on the United stand video yesterday, so I'm hoping Thursday night premiere, hopefully fingers crossed. Watch along will be tomorrow. Do I think the Manchester derby is going to be just as boring? I think we're playing at Old Trafford in December. I think if it was at the Etihad it would be quite boring, because he will just play for a 0-0 draw again. But if he tries and does that at Old Trafford, there'll be a lot of booing and shouting in the first 10 minutes. So I don't think we can approach it like that. Rojo has gone to Benfica, but I don't think he's fit yet. There's not really been any discussion of Rojo's injury, so we don't know. Fortune says Liverpool are the worst team in the top 6. Do you agree? Yes. I think we were on Saturday, but our points tally suggests otherwise. Danny Riley loves the comments, the content, thank you. And we need Pogba back, says Moada. I mean, that's another thing I would say about Sally loves a canal walk. The one thing I would say about United and Manchester City at the moment, I mean, the press are really frustrating me about City, but it's to be expected. They're like so up their backside, and the reality is City have not really had any bad results. Obviously they've had a lot of luck, they've not had any injuries, and it's the middle of October. If they're still smashing teams like they are and they're winning every game in January, I'll start to take notice, but until then this doesn't surprise me. Anyway, United versus Benfica will be on the United stand tomorrow night we'll be live from 6:45 with the team news all the way through till full time. Arshed says hello from the Maldives. I bet it's good weather there. But thanks everyone for watching the preview. Give us your thoughts on my lineup. Give us your thoughts on that stat. If you've joined us a little bit late, Mourinho's stat was that in the last 10 games he's played in the Premier League against the top 6 sides, he's lost 5 and he's drawn 5, and of the 5 draws it was 0-0. So what it definitely does show is that he is approaching these games against the top 6 sides away from home in a very defensive way, and that is over 3 years. So give us your thoughts on that, and I will speak to you all very soon. Thanks everyone for watching who watched it live. If you didn't watch it live, leave us your comments, drop us your like, and I'll speak to you all soon. What a lovely day to do a preview. I'm so glad we decided to do it. It's really, I should have just stood here and do it. The backdrop's lovely, isn't it? So thanks everyone anyway. Speak to you all later.